Hello, I hope you're all having a wonderful and lovely day. My name is Lawrence, and this is episode 3 of Empowerment Hour, my podcast that is hosted live every Saturday at 12 Eastern Standard Time, noon. And today we're going to be talking about just show up. Show up messy, show up unprepared, show up however you are on that day. Earlier, I tried to record this, and my brain was just all over the place. I was going to make a video about just being yourself and how a lot of times in life we get that advice. People tell us, oh, just be yourself. But how? Because underneath everything that you've been taught to be, underneath all the rules and expectations and opinions of other people, is who you really are. It's like there's this kid inside of you who just wants to be present. Welcome back. Yeah, I had to restart the live because that one earlier was just so messy. But underneath all the things that you've been taught to be, that's who you really are. And throughout this episode, people can just ask me anything, about mental health awareness, self-love, confidence, whatever's on your mind. And I'll give you advice on that, as well as I have my own subject we're going to be going into. So often we feel this need to be just perfect, to show up and have the best lighting, the best video, the best score on a test, know the perfect thing to say to that girl you like, and, oh, thank you for that, and have just the perfect plan. But really, you just have to show up. When I make these videos, most of the time, I don't have a script. I don't have any script. I don't have any notes. I'm just going off the top of my head. I'm just being me. And in a world that constantly tells us everything that we should be and shouldn't be, the hardest thing to be is yourself. Because in order to be you, it's like you have to go against all the stuff that the world tells you. When I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur, become a public speaker, become an author, and do all those great things, I realized that a lot of my family, they weren't trying to hold me back. They weren't trying to discourage me. They just couldn't believe it. They just couldn't see the vision like I did. So I had to learn how to have faith in my own dream when I first started. Before I had the office and the lighting and the camera and the suits and all that, I was just outside talking on the street corner. People thought I was crazy. But I knew that I had a plan and I did what I could where I was. And a lot of the people who follow me, they're mainly teenagers and young adults who they have goals, they have aspirations. They want to start going to the gym. They want to get a girlfriend, whatever. But it can feel as if, what if people judge me? What if nobody supports me? What if people don't believe in me? Those are a lot of things that you're going to come up against. And the solution to that, you have to believe in yourself before you have the evidence. Now, that leads to the question of how do I believe in myself when I have zero evidence? When I first started out, I had zero evidence that this was going to work. Zero evidence that this was a good idea. All I did was I just kept showing up. If the video only got 1 view, I kept showing up and making more. If the video got 100 views, I kept making more. If it got 10,000, I kept making more. I had one video that got like 1 million views, and I just kept making more videos. And I was reflecting on that. Like, my best videos are never the ones where I'm trying. The harder you try, the harder it becomes. And the harder that you are trying to be perfect, the harder you're trying to be someone else, the harder it becomes to just be you. It's the thing that comes naturally to us that we often overlook. And we're our harshest critics most of the time. Like most of the time, you will judge yourself so harshly for the simplest things. I noticed that as I'm saying this out my own mouth, in the back of my head, it's as if I'm thinking, oh, Lawrence, but you had a gap in your speech right there. You had a little bit of brain fog. But I'm judging myself so much more harshly than I would someone else. So none of us are perfect and none of us need to be. All you have to be is you. And that's what we are really trying to get into today. I have no idea why, but making these live videos feels a lot harder to me than just recording a regular YouTube video. Because part of it is I'm thinking there's people watching this and they might be wondering, what is this guy talking about? But I just keep showing up. Now, next point I want to get into is how do you deal with people judging you? Because when you start being yourself, one of my favorite hobbies is fishing. And my old high school was near a lake. So what I would do is I would bring a fishing rod to school. Like it's a 7-foot fishing rod. I would bring these to school and put them inside of my locker. And then after school, I would walk to the lake and go fishing. A lot of people looked at me and thought it was weird. But I simply just accepted that people are going to think what they're going to think. Some people will like you. Some people will not. And it's not your job to make the people who don't like you. It's simply your job to be you. There's nothing saying that I couldn't bring my fishing rod to school and then go fishing. Nothing said I couldn't do it. Except the fear of people judging. What are they going to think about me? What if they look at me funny? What if this? What if that? We get so stuck in the what if that we lose sight of what is. Oh my God, that was such a great quote. We get so stuck in what if that we forget what is. We get so stuck in what if that girl doesn't like me? What if that person makes fun of me? What if people don't like my Instagram post? What if people don't like my song when I put it on SoundCloud? That we forget to just ask the person out. That we forget to just post the song. That we forget to try. We get so stuck in worrying about the future that we don't enjoy the present. We get so stuck in what we don't have that we lose sight of what we do have. We get so worried about the future that we never live, because you only have one life and you don't want to spend it being someone else. You don't want to spend your life trying to become the next someone, the next Michael Jordan, the next musician, the next bodybuilder. You don't want to become the next someone. You want to be the one and only you. And the only person who can tell you how to be you is yourself. I can't even tell you how to do it. I'm just here to wake you up to the fact that you have to look inside of you. There's so many people in the internet, in the world, who will tell you who you should be. I'm here telling you to tell yourself who you should be. I'm not here to tell you, hey, buy my $900 course and your life's going to be different. No. I'm here telling you that get a journal, go to the gym, take some time to get to know who you are. We get so focused on trying to take other people out on a date. We get so focused on trying to be something for somebody else that we forget to love the person in the mirror. Oh, but I'm short, I'm this, I'm that, I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm black, I'm white, I'm blue, I'm red. Be you. Love yourself, because the way that God made you is how God made you. And last time I checked, God doesn't make mistakes. Oh, but I'm short. I'm 5'6". Oh, but people don't like me because of X, Y, Z. Okay, and those just aren't your people. I would much rather be hated by the world but love myself than have the whole world love me but I hate myself. Because there were times in my life where years I was trying to just be what everybody else wanted. I was trying to make everybody else proud that I lost sight of who I am. I forgot who I was trying to be what everybody else wanted. And that can be hard because, you want your family to be proud of you. That's a big one. A big one is a lot of people are held back because I'm scared of what mom and dad gonna think of me. And that's valid. That's a valid thought to have, but you gotta understand that when you go to the grave, you're the only one. Like when you go to the grave, you are the only person who goes in your casket. Yes, I understand that you want people to be proud of you. I understand that you want people to like you. I understand that you want to get that girlfriend or that boyfriend, that wife, that husband, that car, that job, whatever. But you have to like who you are. Or, gang, you got some on your lip. Oh, let me check that. Thanks for pointing that out. Because when I make these videos, I just put the camera on and I start talking. There's I'm trying to remember how I thought about it, but a lot of people get so focused on the messenger, like they look at a person and see, like somebody trying. Yeah, I'm not taking guess, but you could comment that because some people they be hopping on these lives and talking crazy, but a lot of people will get so focused on trying to be someone else that they stop being themselves. Now, what did that look like? Maybe as a kid, you loved making art, but your family, your friends, they didn't like it. They told you, oh, your art is bad, your music sucks, you're not handsome, you're ugly, you're this, you're that. And over time, as a kid, you just soak that up. Because as a kid, you believe anything. When you were a kid, your parents told you that if you put a tooth under a pillow, a magic fairy is going to fly through your window and give you money. That you believed it. But as you get older, you realize that, hey, that's kind of silly. Now, there's a lot of things that we get told as a child that we carry on with us as we get older. One of mine was that this belief of people, when I was a kid, people used to make fun of my voice a lot. People used to tell me I sound weird, I talk too fast. People used to make fun of my voice a lot. So I got really insecure about the way I talk. Now, the problem was I wanted to become a public speaker. That's what I wanted to do. So there was this belief of your voice sounds weird, but you're trying to do something that requires you to talk a lot. I had to just accept myself. I had to learn how to accept I am what I am. This is how I sound. Now, yes, I could take voice training lessons. I could practice sounding different. I could learn how to talk like deeper down like this. There's a lot of things I could do to make my voice sound different. But I decided I'm just going to sound how I sound. And the people who like how I sound, they can listen. The people who don't, they don't have to. Earlier, I was walking down the street and I made a video where I was talking about how the sun doesn't wait for permission to shine. The sun doesn't wait for permission to shine. It just does. And if you don't like it, you can look away. If you don't like it, you can look away. Yep, welcome. Because we will dim our light to try and fit in. We will dim our light to try and be around people who aren't shining. It's like the earth. You have the earth. Imagine the earth listening to a rock. I know it might sound silly, but you have an entire planet worried about, oh, I'm scared of what the rocks are going to think about me. I'm scared about what this person's going to think of me. I'm scared about this. I'm scared about that. And It's okay to feel nervous. It's okay to feel afraid. It's okay to feel like, what if? But you don't have to be controlled by it. You can just say, okay, that thought is there. I have that thought. It's there. I have a feeling. But just because you feel upset or worried or afraid or you're welcome or any of those doesn't mean that you have to be controlled by it. There's a quote by this lady. Her name is Layla Hormozy, I believe. I think that's how it's pronounced. She's the wife of Alex Hormozy. And she said that fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. So imagine you're looking out at this river and you're like, oh my gosh, it's just so scary. It's so terrible. Look at all that water. But it's only this deep. Once you get in it, you realize it's not that bad. It's not that deep, to make it more obvious. We get so worried about things that really aren't such a big deal. You know, it's only as bad as you make it in your head. When I decided that I wanted to start wearing suits, I used to wear these to school actually. And naturally, people looked at me like, that's odd. That's strange. Why is he doing that? But I decided, I decided that I was just going to wear whatever I wanted because the clothes on my back doesn't hurt anyone. What I decide to put on doesn't hurt anybody. They can wear what they want to wear, and I will wear what I want to. And we get worried about what people think of us, but we don't spend enough time thinking, what do we think about ourselves? We don't spend enough time thinking, what do I think about me? What do I think when I look in the mirror? What do I think when I wake up in the morning? What do I think about myself? Okay, I got some great news. Let me check this. I needed this message. Okay, I just got an email from Amazon letting me know somebody bought my book. So whoever that was, thank you. I highly appreciate that. Now, back to the point. A lot of times, when you just start being yourself, that's when you're going to have the most reward. I used to work this door-to-door sales job, and we had to memorize a script. And we would say the exact same thing to every single person. Something I noticed was that as I started doing it, the longer I did it, the worse I got. And that's nothing about the job itself or the way the script was written. No, it was just that I sounded like a robot. I sounded like a robot. There was no soul in the way I said it because I was just saying the exact same thing every single time, just like this. Now, when I make these videos and I'm making my TikToks, I'm doing speeches, I'm dynamic, I have energy, I'm flowing because I'm just being me. How did I get to that point? A lot of times you have to figure out what you're not. You need to spend some time figuring out, who am I not? Because I know that I'm not somebody who is going to hurt other people. I know I'm somebody who is just being me, raw, authentic, genuine. I don't need to think too hard about it. I don't need to be so worried about what if. Because once you realize that this is your one and only life, you start taking it more serious. And that doesn't mean that you need to take yourself so serious. It doesn't mean that you have to overthink everything you do and say. But what it does mean is that you have to realize that, hey, everything I do, I have to answer to God for this. Whatever God it is that you believe. Muhammad, Buddha, Jesus, whatever. Whatever you believe, whatever you believe. But at some point or another, you're going to have to answer for what you do. All the good, all the bad, all the ups, all the downs. And it's on you to figure that out. We often look for the answer outside of us on who we should be, what we should do, how we should act, how we should talk, how we should dress, that we ignore the fact that the answer is within you. No one can teach you how to be you. You're the only one who can teach yourself that. So, how do I teach myself how to be myself? Spend time with yourself. Get to know who you are. Journaling. Writing down your thoughts. Physically. Don't do it on like an app. Those journaling apps, no, don't do it. What you want to do is physically, pen and paper, write out, what are you thinking? How do you feel? What's on your mind? I'm upset today. Why? Because this person did this thing. Why did it make you upset when they did that thing? Because it made me feel this way. Why did it make you feel that way? Because when I was a kid, people used to do this and it made me feel insecure. So no, you're not actually mad at that person. You are mad at somebody from when you were 5 years old who doesn't even remember you. And that's a tough pill to swallow. It's a tough pill to swallow when you realize how much of our life is being controlled by our 5-year-old self. Like the stuff people did when we were so young. But when you get aware of that and you realize what's going on underneath the surface, you're able to heal it. You're able to take care of it. You're able to realize that just because that happened doesn't mean that you had to stay stuck back there. Just because people made fun of you when you were 5 years old doesn't mean that you have to spend the rest of your life worried about what people think of you. And as you start journaling and understanding yourself, there comes this point where you realize how much of what you're currently doing isn't you. I know that wording might sound strange, but people do a lot of things that they only do because of what they were taught to do. They're just being what people told them to be. They're being what the world wants rather than being them. And it gets uncomfortable because you'll spend enough time with yourself that it's like you have to look at the most dark things, like the insecurities, the traumas, the unhealed things, and manually, one by one, heal these. But it's not that you realize them one piece at a time. It's like you realize a big chunk, and then you think, oh, that's it. But then you realize a bigger chunk, and then more, and then more, and more, and more. And it's this constant process of going inside, healing the inside, so that the inside stops creating your outside. Most people react rather than respond. And they're reacting based on their inner child, that part of them that people were, that part of them that people were mistreating, that part of them that has those fears, those doubts. Those fears and doubts that you carry around, somebody else taught you that. Somebody else taught you to be insecure and judge yourself and not like how you are. Someone taught you that. But you can unlearn it. Because the same way you learned to be insecure, the same way I learned to be insecure about my voice, I unlearned it. I removed that. I said, okay, just because my family said that to me, or people said it to me, or teachers, or school, or whatever, just because that person said that or did that thing to me, I'm able to move forward regardless. And we don't have to be a prisoner to our past. A lot of people, we become prisoners to our past because low key, it's a way for us to feel powerful. Like we become a victim to our circumstances because it's comfortable there in a weird way. In a weird way, you start to identify as somebody who is struggling, as somebody who's a victim, as somebody who went through this terrible thing. And of course, I'm not saying that you ignore the problem. No, quite the opposite. I'm saying that you have to look inside of yourself, figure out why. Like, I used to have a problem with maintaining relationships. Like, I would get into a relationship, everything would be good, and then something happens, and then boom, 2 months later, gone. And this would happen over and over and over and over. It didn't matter what race she was, it didn't matter her background, family, whatever. I had a problem where within 2 months, I would get into a relationship, everything going good, something goes sour, gone. Like clockwork. And then it would happen with my jobs too. I would get a job, everything going good. 2 months, something happened, boom, gone, like clockwork. And then I pop back up. But then I'm gone again. And I had to figure out why. Why is it that I get into a relationship and then boom, gone. Get into another one, boom, gone. And the same thing happens over and over and over. The reason why is because growing up, I often felt this like fear that if I got too close to people, like if I let people in emotionally, that they were going to hurt me. And then I had to figure out why is that? Because my family and people growing up, some of them did that. And I had to say, well, why was that? Because a lot of them, they were dealing with their own trauma, their own things they didn't heal from. So it was hurt people hurting other people. That's what that was. Now, the thing is, we don't have to just stay stuck there. A lot of people do. But a big part of why they do is it's painful to, get honest about that stuff. It can be real painful to admit to yourself that, hey, this is why. A lot of people, like a lot of women I met, you look at their relationship and it goes south. They date men who are treating them bad. And then, they got to ask, well, why? A lot of times, that might have been what their dad was doing to their mom. That's what they saw growing up. And it's not me, blaming anybody. It's not pointing a finger. We have to just be honest with ourselves. Like, we have to be honest about the fact that maybe the reason why we have issues in our relationships is because that's what we saw mom and dad doing and grandma and grandpa doing. Maybe the reason why we keep dating people who treat us bad is because we treat ourselves bad. Maybe the reason why we are friends with people, date people, hang around people who disrespect us is because we disrespect ourselves. We have to take a moment to, be aware of how are you talking to yourself about yourself? How are you talking to yourself about yourself? When you fail a test, do you say, oh man, I'm a failure? When something doesn't go right, do you say, man, nothing ever works? Nobody likes me. The way you talk about yourself, that teaches other people how to treat you. The way you treat yourself is going to be reflected in how other people treat you. And the only way for you to start treating yourself better is to spend some time with yourself. Get to know who you are. Figure out who you're not. Peel back the layers. Realize that underneath all the stuff that people have told you to be is the real you.